How's it going, folks? Rob here. Welcome back to the channel, back on Horizon 5. Today we're going to check out a classic British car, which, well, not exactly a sports car, but it is a classic post-war British car. Hell, even in Australia, as a young boy in Melbourne, I saw a lot of these on the road back in the day as a young kid. So never thought I'd be driving one here on Forza, but here we are. So what is the 1953 Morris Minor 1000? The Morris Minor is classic simple motoring at its finest. Nothing flash on this car, everything is simple, clean and basic. The name Minor comes from Morris, who gave it to this car as it was planned to be the smallest car in their fleet. Simple enough. Designed by Sir Alec Izagonis, who later designed a slightly more popular little car you might have heard of called the Mini Cooper. Over 20 years this car is in production. Over 1 million of these cars were built. Not exactly this one you see on screen, the Minus 1000, but the Minor cars in general was the first British car to sell over 1 million cars. It had a very cheerful round design. Still after all these years, in my opinion, it is a simple design, but it still looks really good. It's made mostly of steel, but there's just something about these older cars, especially in the 50s and 60s. They just got more character and charm to them. The simplistic design of this car carries over for the inside as well, where it's very basic and stripped back. You get a few dials, couple of switches, a basic steering wheel and nothing else. Very cheap and affordable back in the day for what people needed. Post World War II, a lot of people didn't have too much money. Simplicity carries over under the bonnet as well, because if you zoom in, you do see an engine that is 800 cc's of power, translates to a whopping 37 horsepower. What power is produced is sent to the rear wheels through a manual gearbox. Now remember, this is a time when this is not designed to be a sports car, but a cheap basic car, like I said before. However, it did have, for its time, decent suspension, especially for a fairly cheap car. Independent suspension up front with torsion bars, in the rear, live axle, leaf springs. For the brakes, given the era, tiny little drum brakes all around. More on those a bit later. In game, it'll set you back about 20,000 credits, which is pretty cheap in the auto show. And I gotta say, for something that's 73 years old, it does look pretty good. So for the first test, we're doing a brake test. Over here at my purpose-built track, we finally get to use the ramp to build up speed, because this little fella cannot get to the 150 k's without help. So on the brakes, the little drum brakes are on fire. It does stop eventually. We finally crack 80 meters, which is not something you want to do. We hit 80, just shy of 85 meters for the little Minor. Yeah, that is not great. So we're here at the drag strip, 1 mile. This is a 5-mile runway where I do all my high-speed testing. High-speed testing is not something typically known with the Morris Minor, but anyway, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. No, that's not a typo. 31.2 seconds. That is very slow. Pretty sure some wildlife could run faster than that. 0 to 160 kilometers an hour, which is 100 miles an hour. It doesn't hit because its top speed is 124 kilometers an hour. In game, that is incredibly slow and annoying. In the real world, I can only imagine the noise this thing would make hitting 120 kilometers an hour. That little four-cylinder would be screaming its tits off. Down here, the 1 mile, as we come up to it now, at a comfortable 38.3 seconds. She is not a fast car. Now, I had to go all the way to the end. Got 4 more miles to go. I'm not going to make you sit through that. It got to 124 kilometers an hour. It is not a fast car, but it was never built to be. Before we get onto the track, we're going to do a quick sound test, see what the 4-cylinder does sound like. Not going to set the world on fire at all, that car at all. But anyway, it's a cute little car. Let's head to the track and see what it can do around there. All right, here we are at my test track with the slowest car I've ever driven around here. This is a D100 car, the lowest rating you can get, but it isn't the slowest car in the game. That belongs to one of the Peel cars. But around here, the Morris Minor 1000, how can you critique it? Well, for the braking, we saw that on the high-speed testing. It's not great, but I was asking it to brake at a speed faster than the car can do on a flat road. Around here, there's probably one spot I use the brakes, and that is going into the slalom. Other than that, I don't recall actually using the brakes, because you're not exactly going fast enough. Now, the first half of this track, yeah, as you can see, some tight bends. You got to use a little bit of brake in faster cars, but this one, you just lift off and roll, and it's comfortable enough to get it around quite easy enough. You're not using your brakes. For a little car, it is quite, and being 73 years old, it has got pretty good suspension. There's not much body roll and lean, so the suspension it does have does work really well. It does turn into the corners really well. It's got a nice short wheelbase. It's got a lot of potential if you want to throw in some upgrades to it. Power down the straights, we saw it on the 1 mile drag. It's got 37 horsepower. It feels like it's got 37 horsepower. The car weighs about 800 kilos, so it is fairly light and agile, but it's got no grunt and torque to get it from corner to corner. And we're nearly halfway through the lap, and I've ran out of things to say because it's a very simple car to drive. Now, honestly, if there was no such thing as upgrades in Forza Horizon series, this would be a car you drive once and never again. You can upgrade it and make it into a fun little thing, but stock standard, it is horrible. Coming out of this tight corner behind the back of the old man's house, we're going to head up this little hill here. Flat chat, this thing doesn't even do 60 down here. It cannot, I'm in second gear, and that is all she's got. It is, yeah, she's not a fast car. Now, we got about a minute to go. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, so I'm going to shut up. You can skip ahead a minute, but if you want to stay and watch, have at it. I've just got ran out of things to say about it. All right, finally we get to the finish line, and in the end, it did something quite incredible. It did under 3 minutes, which is still a shocking lap time. 2:56.8. We'll have to run some other slow cars to figure out just how bad that is, but at the moment, that is dreadfully in last place. So that is the Morris Minor 1000, a classic little British car, but not exactly the fastest thing. So next episode, we're going to drive something a little bit quicker to make up for that. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.